Greetings and welcome. Today I present to you the ultimate ranked list of all the JDM vehicles currently in GTA 5 as of the Bottom Dollar Bounties DLC. I've made this list in collaboration with some of my friends, including some who are veterans to the game and into cars, down to those who have barely played any GTA and aren't really into cars. This is why I say it's the ultimate list, as this has given many opinions from many different people, with varying levels of interest and knowledge. Obviously, I weighed the opinions depending on how much knowledge each person has, but this let me get an insight into all the ranges of players, including those who would be considered new to the game. Now, every car was rated on a multitude of factors, including looks, customization, performance, handling, drivetrain, price, and availability. For categories where it applies, cars were rated on a 1 to 5 scale, going from terrible to bad to decent to good and to amazing. I just want to clarify beforehand, when customizing a car, if it has 10 options for each category, like 10 exhausts, and 8 of them out of the 10 are completely trash, the car would get a low customization score, and vice versa. If it only had, say, 3 exhaust options, but all of them were good, it would get a higher score. And finally, we didn't rate the Karen S95, aka the BRZ FRS 86. We all play on PC, we don't have access to it, so we can't give it a fair rating. If I was to guess where it'd go on the list, I'd say it's a top 10 vehicle easily, given its performance. But again, I don't have access to it, so I can't say for sure. Now, without any further delay, let's get right into this list. Up first, in dead last, is the Volcar Warner HKR in 45th place. This is based on a Nissan Sunny / a Datsun 510 pickup with a Skyline 2000 front bumper. The style overall is bad, the customization is bad, the performance is terrible, it handles pretty bad, it's rear-wheel drive with no weight on the back so it spins out all the time. It's in the sedans category. You can stance it, but beyond that it's pretty bad. The customization, there's lots of options and a lot of them they're not great. Like you can throw like the wheel arches on it and stuff to make like a little hot square body pickup, but then you have terrible fitment. It's like the whole thing's a recipe for success, but it's not good. And when you factor in the price, $1.26 million for something that's completely garbage, even when you get the trade price $945,000 from Southern San Andreas Super Auto. So for that price, you should never buy this. Unless you just want this pickup, there's no reason to have it. And up next, in 44th place, we have the Maibatsu Penumbra, which is based on a 4th gen Mitsubishi Eclipse. Now this is a decent looking car, it's free, you can just steal it off the street. You can't actually buy it, but you just gotta find it. They're all over the place. The customization is terrible, it has bad performance. It handles pretty good honestly, but I think it's more so because it's slow more than anything. It's a rear wheel drive car in the sports category, and there's not much to say about it. If you like Mitsubishi Eclipses, sure, but there is a better Mitsubishi Eclipse later on that you should have instead, so there's not really much reason to have this other than it's free. And moving on to 43rd place, we have the Dinka Blista Compact, which is based on a Honda CRX. The customization is basically non-existent. Looks pretty bad. To be honest, it doesn't look much like a CRX other than the body shape and the black trim. It handles okay at best. It's terrible performance-wise though. It's so slow. It's front-wheel drive. It's in the sports category. It's technically $42,000, but if you're a returning player, it's free on Southern San Andreas Super Auto. The rear fitment's bad and you can't do anything about it. Again, there's like no customization. The only cool thing about this car is there's a version called the Go-Go Monkey Blista, and to get this in GTA Online you have to have level 20 in the Arena War to get, which means you have to have a net positive 200 wins. So if you have it, it's a huge flex, but it still sucks and no one realistically is going to have that legit. So this car just sucks, unfortunately, because the CRX is a really cool car in real life. Up next, in 42nd place, we have the Karen Intruder, which is based on a roughly 2002 Nissan Q45. Actually looks decent, but the customization is terrible. I really wish they did it on like a 98 Q45. Those are actually kind of decent looking. Performance is bad, handling's bad. It's a rear-wheel drive sedan. You can't buy it, but you can steal it off the street. Again, it's kind of different to anything else on the list, but otherwise it just sucks. Alright, at number 41 we have the Bulacan Prairie, which is based on a Hyundai Tiburon, which technically isn't JDM because it's Korean, but they get associated with, so I've just kind of lumped it in here. it looks bad. Customization is good on it, though, I will admit. At the end of the day, it's a Tiburon. If you're one of like 5 people who like Tiburons, here you go. Otherwise, the only reason it's not bottom is because it has good customization. Performance is bad, handling's bad, it's front-wheel drive, it's a compact, you can steal it off the street so it's free, but you can't buy it. That and the customization are the only pros. And at number 40, we have a car that a lot of people forget in the game. It's the Emperor ETR1, which is based on a Lexus LFA. Now, customization is terrible. It has none. It looks pretty bad. You can barely tell it's an LFA. The performance is amazing, the handling's amazing, it's rear-wheel drive. That's because it's a supercar, it's in the supers class. The reason this car is so low, $1,995,000. And it's also not available. If you want to buy it, you have to go to the Underground or to Simeon's or something when it's available. The fitment sucks on the wheels to boot as well, which is just another knock against this car, which is why it's so low, because I love the LFA. Real world, the LFA is like a top 5 car of all time for me. But this it does it so dirty, and as such, it has to be at the bottom of the list. If you want it for the performance, because that's the only thing you'd buy it for, just get a different supercar like a Zentorn. There's no reason to buy this. And now at number 39, above the LFA is the Zirconium Stratum, which is based on a 5th gen Honda Accord wagon. The style's pretty bad, all things considered. Customization is terrible, performance is terrible, handling's bad. It is all-wheel drive, and you can steal it, but you can't buy it, so it's free. It's in the sedans class, and it has terrible fitment on the wheels to boot, but it's the only wagon in the game. We have no Outbacks, no Foresters, no Nissan Stegias, no Mitsubishi Legnums, nothing for JDM wagons but this. And that's why it's as high as it is, because if you want a wagon, this is it. And admittedly, seeing them on the street, they're not terrible looking, you look up close and they're bad. And at number 38, we have the Karen Futo, which is based on a Toyota Corolla A86 11. It's free, you can steal it off the street. It looks decent, it has decent customization. Its performance is decent, it handles terribly. If you want a car to slide and you have no money, then this is good. Otherwise, if you can afford a car with a drift upgrade, you should just get that instead. It's rear-wheel drive, obviously, it's in the sports category. There's also a better version of it. If you like Toyota Corollas, there is objectively better looking version of it in the game as well, certainly one with more customization. So if you want to slide for less than 150k, this is good. Otherwise, you're better off getting something else. And at number 37, we have the Karen Salt, which is based on a Lexus IS300. It has some Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 5/6 kind of hints to it, but primarily the IS300. It's a decent looking car. Customization is terrible. It has decent performance. The handling's kind of bad. It's all-wheel drive and it has a pretty wide turning circle. It's a sports car. It's $12,000. You can also steal it for free, so you shouldn't actually buy this thing. And one nice thing, especially if you're a new player, you can later upgrade this car at Benny's into a Sultan RS. So you could pick it up, use it early on. It's not terrible, and then later on make it a much cooler, much better car, which is why it's as high as it is. Otherwise, you're better off just going for said Sultan RS. And now at number 36, we have the Karen Karuma, which is based on a Mitsubishi Evo 10. That's a decent looking car. Customization's bad. Good performance, good handling. It's all-wheel drive. It's a sports car. You can get it for $126,000, or if you have a trade price, $95,000 on Southern San Andreas. The reason this car's so low is there's a better version in the Armored Karuma. If you want without armor plating, that looks cool, or not cool, but clean rather, then this is obviously what you're going to buy. Otherwise, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to buy the armored version, which is infinitely more useful. And at number 35, we have the Dinka Blista Contro, which is based on a Honda Civic EK9. And you could say it's a Type R as well. You can kind of make it look like a Type R. It looks good. It has good customization, although a lot of the mods are more Hot Boy kind of style mods, if you know what I mean. But unfortunately, the performance is bad in terms of the top speed, and the acceleration is bad. Actually, I'd say it's terrible. It's a front-wheel drive car, and the back just swings. It loves swinging that fucking ass out. You can't control it at high speeds. You're realistically going to crash on any corner. The only good thing is $580,000, or at the trade price, $437,000 on San Andreas Super Auto. I really want to like this car, but it sucks to drive. so much. If you want to have like a Stancy Pants Civic, this is it. Otherwise, if you're cultured, unfortunately this thing just blows and you should ignore it. And at number 34, we have the Fathom FR36, and I'm expecting some flack for this one. It's based on a Infiniti G35. Looks decent customization, decent handling, decent performance. It's a rear-wheel drive coupe. You can put a drift upgrade on it. Cost $1.6 million on Southern San Andreas. $1.6 million for basically an Altima. Also, it should have been a G37. G37s look infinitely better than a G did the G35 instead, and that's kind of why it's rated so low. Is it should have been a G37, especially for $1.6 million, and it's just average. And the price is on the higher side for this list. A lot of cars are in the $1.2, $1.3 million range as well. So for just being decent and cosmetically a letdown, couldn't place it any higher than this. And at number 33, it's the Volcar Warner, which is based on a Nissan Skyline 2000 GTX. Not a GTR because it's 4-door. Honestly, it looks decent customization, but it has bad performance and bad handling. It has terrible understeer and a low top speed. It's a rear-wheel drive sedan. The only good thing here is it's $120,000, but it's not available right now. You have to have it come up in the underground or at Simeon's in order to get it. And to top it off, some of the customizations aren't good at all. Like you can put fender arches on it, and obviously there's a giant gap because the wheels don't fill out and it just looks terrible. So you can't even do the cool retro mod look on the car, which really just, the price is the only thing that's kept it this high. And now at number 32 is the Dinka Conjo SJ, which is based on an EG Honda Civic. Now the style's decent, it has amazing customization, although a lot of the mods are kind of hot boy mods, racer mods, that kind of stuff. It has pretty bad performance, but it handles great. It's a front-wheel drive car, it's a coupe. Here's the bite, $1.37 million. Trade price, $1,027,500 from Southern San Andreas Super Auto. It's expensive for what it is, and it should have been a hatchback. The EG Civic hatchback is, like, as far as I'm aware, the most popular Civic. So why this is a coupe and why the EK is a hatch, I don't know. But again, overall, it's a great feeling car to drive for $1 million. If you're into Civics, this isn't bad. But otherwise, it's not worth it. There's better front-wheel drive cars still to come. And coming in at number 31 is the Karin Astrope GZ, which is based on a 5th-gen Toyota Camry. Honestly, looks decent, amazing customization, nothing crazy in your face, lots of subtle stuff, but lots of good options, decent performance, and amazing handling. It's a rear-wheel drive car. It feels like an all-wheel drive car, just to kind of give you some idea of how good it feels. It's in the sedans class. It's $459,000, and it's on Southern San Andreas Super Auto. There's not much more to say about it. It is a Camry. You probably don't like it, but if you do like it, it's a really solid car. And coming in at number 30 here is the Dinka Jester, which is based on an Acura NSX, a new one obviously. Honestly, this thing looks amazing. The customization's bad though. Good performance, good handling. It's a rear-wheel drive sports car for $240,000, but it's not available to buy right now. It's another removed car. You can steal it off the street. I think you can upgrade it, but you can't insure it and keep it, which really sucks. The reason this car's down here in the 30s is because there is a faster version of it called the Dinka Jester race car. The only disadvantage to that car is you have to have a livery on it. If you want just a clean NSX, then you'll buy this one. But it's still a really solid car to drive with good stats, so that's why it's not at the bottom like some of those other cars with better versions. And the first car in the 20s at number 29 is the Dinka Postlude. This is based on a 1st-gen Honda Prelude, and honestly it looks really good. Customization is amazing, but the performance and handling are bad. The front-wheel drive coupe costs $1.3 million, $982 with the trade price from Southern San Andreas. This is kind of the last car where cosmetics alone have got it this high up the list. Everything here up, if it's a good-looking car with bad stats, they're at least passable. This thing is still a bit more, you have to like it to buy it. And at number 28, we have another car that might get a bit of flack for being low, is the Annis Euros, which is based on a 370Z from Nissan. Honestly, looks decent, customization's decent, performance is decent, handling's amazing. It's like a touch of oversteer, but otherwise it's essentially a perfect handling car. Rear-wheel drive, sports class, $1.8 million from Luxury Motorsports. Now there's a trade price. You can get it for $1.35 million. I believe it's one of the underground ones though, so it's just random if you get it or not. So if you have the trade price, better than a G35. If you don't, worse. It's missing a lot of those cool like 350, 370Z mods, like giant fender arches and wings and all this stuff. It just doesn't have any of that stuff. But it does have the drift upgrade, and you can stance it. But it's a bit of a letdown, especially from what you expect it to be versus what it is. And that's why it's, you know, a little lower on the list. And now at number 27, we have the Maibatsu Monstrosity, or Monstrosity. It's based on a Mitsubishi Pajero. It looks pretty good. Amazing customization. It has decent performance, pretty good handling. It's top heavy, which is why it's not an amazing handling car. It's an off-road car for $1.48 million from Southern San Andreas. It has one of the best names of any car, in my opinion, in the game. And it does have a Monty Tech, so missile lock-on jammers, bullet-resistant windows, and with the armor upgrade, it can take 3 explosives. So pretty decent free roam car. Again, it's not an amazing performing car, but as an off-road vehicle, it's really good. Again, a bit more of an acquired taste, but overall, a really solid car. And now at number 26 is the Annis Remus, which is based on a Nissan Silvia S13. Now I want to say I love Nissans, I love Silvias, I love S13s, I love, you know, the 240 hatch, the S14s, the S15s. Why they chose a Silvia S13 of all the options, I don't know. It still looks good, has decent customization. There's a lot of options, but a lot of them are Hot Boy mods and drift mods. A lot of there's lots of side panel options and they all have rivets on them. There's no big catback exhaust options. The fitment's pretty bad. It's either on its nuts because you can stance it, but without using the stance option in the interaction menu, it sits high. It oversteers like crazy. Good performance, but terrible handling. It has the drift upgrade. You'll note the footage in the background is without the drift upgrade. It's a sports car, $1.37 million. $1,027,000 with the trade price from Southern San Andreas Super Auto. Again, it's one of those cars that has so much going for it, and you put it all together with all the little flaws, and it just falls so short. And that's why it's only number 26 here. And moving on into number 25 is the Dinka Sugoi, which is based on a Honda Civic FK8 Type R. It's a good looking car with a lot of really bad customization options. Good performance, good handling. It's a front wheel drive car. I believe this is the best driving front wheel drive car on the list, potentially in the game. Sports car, $1.224 million, $918,000 with the trade price from Southern San Andreas. There is a reasonable amount of customization for the car, but it's a lot of it's Hot Boy shit. So if you like that, here you go. Otherwise, meh. Like I said, I believe this is the highest rated front wheel drive car, so if you want a front wheel drive car for some reason, this is your best option as a JDM vehicle. And at number 24 is the previously mentioned Dinka Jester race car, again based on the Acura NSX. Again, good style, this time terrible customization. Again, that livery, I think there's 2 options, but you can't remove the livery. Amazing performance though, good handling, rear wheel drive sports car, $350,000 this time. Also not available, another car that's been removed. Again, if you like the NSX, you want one that's faster, here you go. And now at number 23, we have the Annis 300R, which is based on the new Nissan Z. Honestly, decent looking car, decent customization, good performance, good handling. It's a rear wheel drive sports car. One of the big holdbacks is $2 million from Luxury Motorsports. It does have a Monty Tech, however, but a missile lock-on jammer, and there's some explosive armor. It'll let you take 12 explosives. The back of the car looks amazing. The front's a bit of a letdown. No 240Z style hood or anything, especially with that $2 million price point, really falls off. And one little side note, you can put little wheel arches on the side. You can see in the footage here, I've got carbon fiber ones on, but you can see underneath and see the base of the car, and it's a little off-putting once you see it. And at number 22, the Annis Euros X32. This is based on a Nissan Z32 300ZX. Honestly, this car looks amazing. The only thing unfaithful to the real car is the rear taillights, which kind of sucks because that's the best part of the car in my opinion. Customization, however, is terrible. The wheel fitment isn't great. The brakes are currently broken. The brake calipers are inside the discs. There's basically no bumper options. All the skirts and diffusers and splitters, there's only like 1 or 2 good options out of all those categories. You can't do any big dual cat. You can't do any big twin catbacks like you see on the twin turbo ZXs. No good wing options as well. So it's a good 10-footer car, and that's about as good as I can talk about the looks of this car. And overall, it only performs decently. It does have good handling, rear-wheel drive coupe, 1.5 million from Luxury Autos. Again, just as it sits when you buy it is about as good as it's gonna look, and especially with the price point and the very mediocre performance on an overall scale, it has to sit at 22, which really sucks because I think this is a really cool car. It was almost an amazing car if they just gave it some customization, but they didn't, so here it sits. And at number 21 is the Maibatsu Penumbra FF, which is based on a second-gen Mitsubishi Eclipse. Honestly, this car looks pretty decent, has good customization, decent performance, decent handling. It's an all-wheel drive sports car, $1.38 million from Southern San Andreas Super Auto. One little knock I will give to the car, you don't have the little hump on the hood. There's no option for that, which kind of sucks because that's one of the defining features of those Eclipses. Otherwise, it's just a pretty solid car. If you like Eclipses, then this is a fantastic car. Otherwise, if you don't like them, it's all right. And rounding up the 20s, we have the Dinka RT3000 at number 20. This is based on a Honda S2000. This thing looks amazing. They did this thing justice. Customization's decent. There's a few gripes with it, like you can put front canards on, but you can't put front canards on a stock looking bumper. And like there's no big dual exit exhaust that isn't a titanium exhaust, just little things like that. It is a soft top, but when this is huge for me specifically, it has the removable hardtop as an option. I think it's the clamshell. I'm not exactly sure what the specific part's called. Customization overall is decent. Good performance, good handling, rear-wheel drive sports car. $1.7 million from Southern San Andreas with a trade price of $1.286 million. Overall, a really solid car. It's also the only soft top, so if you like little roadsters, then this is your car. And in 19th place, we have the Karen Futo GTX. This is based on the Toyota Corolla AE86. It's a good looking car with amazing customization, decent performance. The handling's bad, but it does have the drift upgrade, which actually makes it pretty good as a drift car. Obviously rear-wheel drive sports car, $1.59 million, trade price $1,192,000 from Southern San Andreas. You can also stance this car in the interaction menu. One little issue with this car, you can put wheel arches on it, but the fitment's bad when you do. And the reason this car's down here at number 19 and not any higher is because it's just a Toyota Corolla. It has anime hype, sure, but it's a Toyota Corolla. It does have pop-up headlights though, and overall, still a really good looking car. And moving on to number 18 is the Karen Boar, which is based on a Subaru Brat. Honestly, an amazing looking car with amazing customization. Performance is decent with good handling. It is all-wheel drive. It's an off-road car. $1.28 million from Southern San Andreas Super Auto. The only real knock against this car, it has a bit of rake, and you can't remove that. It just stuck like that. But overall, this thing's a real cutie. And now in 17th place is the Karen Previan. This is based on a Lexus SC400. Decent looking car, decent customization, decent performance, decent handling, rear-wheel drive coupe, $1.5 million, trade price $1.1 million from Southern San Andreas. It can be stanced. Fitment's not, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's not perfect with the wheels, but overall a really solid, well-rounded car. When we were making this list, this was kind of our baseline. Cars above this are typically above average cars, essentially. Overall, it's just a good looking car. I feel it is a bit more of an acquired taste, but overall, yeah, like I said, it's a really good looking car. And at number 16, we have not a JDM car. This is a Pfister Comet Retro Custom based on a Porsche 911 930 RWB version. RWB is a Japanese aero tuning company. It originates from the Japanese domestic market, and when you see an RWB Porsche, you know it's an RWB Porsche. You look at huge rear over fenders and front over fenders, and it's very obviously a Japanese styled car, and that's why I've included it on this list. Overall, amazing style and customization. It is a Benny's car, so $650,000 to upgrade it from the Pfister Comet, which is an additional $100,000. One downside is the Pfister Comets, while it's on the street, you can't keep it, and it's not currently available to buy right now. But the performance is good, The handling's good. It has a wide turning circle, and that's just that wide wheelbase. Overall, it's a really good car to drive, and the reason we haven't bumped it near that top 10 list is because, again, it's technically not a JDM car. And at number 15 is the Karen Sultan RS Classic, which is based on a Subaru Impreza GC8. It's a good-looking car, good customization, good performance, decent handling. It's all-wheel drive, and one issue with this car is it feels like it's biased. So like if you put it against a wall and hit the gas, only the rear wheels spin. It very much at higher speeds just feels like a rear-wheel drive car, which makes it a little less predictable to control. Still good though. Sports class, $1.8 million, trade price 1.35 from Southern San Andreas. You can stance the car. There's another car very much similar to this called the Karen Sultan Classic. The customization options between this and that car are almost identical. Overall, it's just a decent car, but again, there's the Sultan Classic, which is just a little bit better. And at number 14, we have the Annis ZR350, which is based on a Mazda RX-7 FD. Now this thing looks amazing. Customization is only decent. A few things are missing, like you can only do dual exit exhausts, no single exits. Fitment when you put over fenders on it are pretty bad, the usual bad options. Decent performance though, good handling, a rear-wheel drive sports car. $1.6 million, $1.2 million with the trade price from Legendary Motorsports. This has a custom rotary idle sound. And the rotary engine has been modeled in the engine bay, which is pretty cool. The car can be stanced or lowered. It can be have a drift upgrade on it as well. It does a lot. Obviously, it's an RX-7, so it gets some extra points there, but beyond that, it's pretty average. And at number 13, once again, not a JDM car, although this is our last non-JDM. It's the Bulacan Envisage. This car just came out. It's based on the Hyundai Envision 74. It looks amazing. Good customization, good performance, good handling. It's a rear-wheel drive sports car. Most expensive car on this list, $2.47 million from Legendary Motorsports. It's also the only electric vehicle on this list. And one thing to note, the acceleration for an electric car is bad, but everything else about the performance is good. And it's still decent acceleration just for an electric car. It also has a Monty Tech, remote control, and missile lock-on jammer, and slick lines. So no bulletproof or explosive proof, which sucks. But it is a really sexy car. And in at number 12, the Dinka Jester Classic. This is based on the Toyota A80 Supra, or the Mark IV Supra. It's a good-looking car with good customization, good performance, amazing handling. It's a rear-wheel drive sports car for $790,000 from Legendary Motorsports. For the price, it's one of the best deals on this list. Not a huge amount of customization options, but each option looks really good. And one little side note about this car is the RPM band feels a little shorter, so it feels like you're accelerating faster than you are. And there's also a lot more backfire, which gives it a really cool, unique driving experience. And at number 11, as our last car outside of the top 10, is the Karen Sultan Classic. Again, this is based on a Subaru Impreza GC8. Good looking car, good customization, good performance, decent handling. Again, all-wheel drive with that same rear-wheel drive bias issue. Sports car for $1.7 million, $1.3 with the trade price from Southern San Andreas. But the reason this car is rated higher than the other GC8 is this is a four-door car, which means as an overworld car, it's a little more practical. Other than that, though, not much more to say about it that wasn't mentioned with the Sultan RS Classic. And starting off the top 10, at number 10 is the Karen Karuma Armored, a Mitsubishi Evo 10. Again, decent style, bad customization, good performance, good handling, all-wheel drive sports car, $698,000 and $525,000 with the trade price from Southern San Andreas Superauto. Armor can't be removed, like I mentioned before. If you want a clean version, this isn't it, but this is bulletproof, 4 doors, non-raceable because of the armor. As an overworld car, as a practical car, especially for a newer player, this is it. This is the car to get. Like the first real car to buy, really. This will help you do all your missions. And moving on to number 9 is the Annis Elegy RH8, which is based on the Nissan R35 GTR. It's free. There's not much more to say about it. It's a good looking car with pretty bad customization, not a lot of options, but Good performance, amazing handling because it's all-wheel drive, sports car, free. You can actually upgrade it at Benny's into the Elegy Retro Custom as well. As a new player, you should log in and buy this car. Yeah, that price point is what brought it into the top 10. And again, the customization is kind of why it sits at the bottom of the top 10. But overall, it's still a really, really good car. Moving on to number 8 is the Emperor Vector. This is based on a Lexus RCF. It's a good looking car with good customization, amazing performance, and good handling. One thing that's really nice, it has the crackly exhaust that was introduced with the Komoda. It's an all-wheel drive sports car, $1.78 million, $1.33 with the trade price from Luxury Motorsports. You can stance the car. It's one of the best driving experiences in the game. I could talk good about this car for hours. We kept it a little lower on the list. A lot of us really like Lexuses, so we kind of wanted to put this higher, but the RCS specifically is definitely more of an acquired taste. It's got that very bulbous, bulgy front end. This car, if you're looking for a car to buy and like you're pretty well off in the game, this is one you should consider for sure, 100%. And in at number 7 is a car that I don't think many people will have expected, is the Annis Silvestre. It's based on a Mazda RX-3. It's got some Nissan C110 Skyline kind of hints to it, but an amazing looking car with amazing customization. Only decent performance, but really good handling, rear-wheel drive car. It's a sports classic for $990,000. Another drawback though, been removed, another car that isn't available right now. But it's an RX, it has a rotary sound, it has a rotary startup as well. One unfortunate thing, it doesn't have the rotary engine modeled like the RX-7 does. And also if you have a mobile op center, you can put front-mounted machine guns on this thing. This thing's hot, it's a real cutie, really slept on, you never see them. This is a car that, if you want something different, this is a good-ass car. And at number 6 is the Annis ZR380. This is based on a 350Z Nissan. Now there's 3 versions of this car. There's Apocalypse, Future Shock, and Nightmare. The cleanest looking one is the Future Shock. Overall, it's a good looking car. The customization is terrible unless you like Mad Max stuff, then it's actually amazing. Performance wise though, this is amazing. It's a decent handling rear-wheel drive car. The sports class, $2.13 million, $1.6 million with the trade price, available from the Arena War website. This is not a raceable car either. The reason this car is so high, it has nitrous, bulletproof windows, and it can jump. It has one of the highest top speeds in the game. I think if you're on PlayStation 5 with the HSW stuff, that might not be true, but at least for PC, one of the highest top speeds in the game. You can also put a ram on the front, proxy mines, 50 caliber machine guns. The one downside, if you want a clean looking one though, you can't remove all the armor. The one I've got here is basically as naked, as clean as you can get it. But it's still a good looking car and it's so fun to drive and it's so practical to boot. It's just a win all around. Here in number 5, we have the Dinka Jester RR. This is based on the Toyota A90 Supra or the Mark V Supra. This is an amazing looking car with decent customization, good performance, amazing handling rear-wheel drive car in the sports class. $1.97 million, $1.47 the trade price from Legendary Motorsports. This car can be stanced, it has the drift upgrade, it has a custom startup sound. The rear of the car is like perfect. It looks amazing, and even some of the mods are based on like real world mods. Like you'll notice some of the wings are like Street Hunter stuff, which is really cool to see. The front's like the only kind of drawback to this car. But overall, an amazing car. And just outside of our top 3 in the 4th place is the Karen Sultan RS. This is based on a Lexus IS300. This is a Benny's car, so it looks amazing with amazing customization. Upgrades from the Karen Sultan, which you can get for free. The upgrade price is $795,000. Decent performance and decent handling, all-wheel drive. The main issue is it's a supercar, so in terms of racing, it's no good. It's like the 4th, 3rd worst car in the supers class or something, but it's still really good as a sports car level car. It's one of the OGs too. It has maybe the best customization in the game, honestly. It has a really cool, good sounding blow-off valve. again, it's really just that class that holds it back. Otherwise, it's just a phenomenal car. If you don't have one of these and you like JDM cars, what are you doing? And starting off in our top three, in the third position is the Karen 190Z. This is based on the Nissan 240Z/280Z. It's an amazing looking car with amazing customization. The only real downside is the taillights are wrong. They look more like old Corvette lights from like a C3 or C2. And the wheel arches, if you put the over fenders on, have terrible fitment. But otherwise, amazing looking car. Good performance, good handling. Honestly, the handling's almost amazing. It's pretty, almost close to perfectly balanced as it can get, really. Sports classic, rear-wheel drive, 900,000 bucks. The only downside to this car, it's been removed, not currently available. If you have the chance to get one of these though, get one of these. These things are so fun to drive and they look so sexy. It's just an amazing, amazing car. And in our number 2 spot, the Annis Elegy Retro Custom. This is based on the Nissan R32 GTR. It's got some hints of like R33 stuff on the front. It's an amazing looking car with amazing customization. It's a Benny's car. It upgrades from that Elegy RH8, $904,000 to upgrade. Good performance, amazing handling. It's all-wheel drive, sports car. It's just an amazing car, and to boot as well, the idle sound is really lopey. It actually sounds like a stroked RB26, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's a phenomenal car. You can't really go wrong buying this thing, especially because the base car is free. And the number 1 spot, our champion, best JDM car, the Karen Calico GTF. Now, those who've driven this probably kind of maybe expected this. Those who haven't, probably a bit surprised. This is based on a Toyota Celica GT4. It's an amazing looking car, good customization, amazing performance. The handling's both terrible and amazing. It understeers like a motherfucker, but it's all-wheel drive and it accelerates so fast and so hard. You just chuck it around the corner. You just pull the handbrake, toss it, hook back up when you're around the corner, and take off, and you're ripping. It's a sports car for $1.99 million. Trade price $1.49 million from Southern San Andreas Super Auto. Honestly, the only real knocks to this car is the exhaust. All the options are tucked behind the rear bumper, and you can have the Celica livery from Rallycross, but it's locked behind the underground leveling system at level 184. Honestly, one of the best driving experiences in the game. Car can be stanced as well, just as an added bonus. One other little thing that's a little bit annoying as well, some of the liveries don't go onto like the extended skirts and whatnot on the bottom of the car, but it's such a minor thing, and when once you drive one of these things, you'll realize why this car is number 1. It's that driving experience that really puts it over the edge. I can't say enough good things about this car. If you can afford this car and you want like a good car that's just fun to drive, this is the car. It's up there with like the Schlagen GT for me as like one of the best cars to drive in game. I love this thing. I find myself just taking it out and seeing how hard I can chuck it around a corner without just smashing a wall. It's just an amazing car and is definitely deserving of the number 1 position on this list. And thank you so much for watching. That concludes the list. 40 minutes is ridiculous. If you made it to the end, thank you. This video is meant to be like 15-20 minutes. It's just, after gathering all the info and everything, I couldn't make the video really any shorter than this. If you enjoyed, please, leave a like and whatnot, and have a good one.